The name of the story is The Crystal Ball. In the south of Spain, there was a small village whose people were very joyful and lucky. The children played under the shade of trees in the gardens of their home. The shepherd boy, whose name was Nazir, stayed near the village with his father, mother, and grandmother. Early morning each day, he takes his herd of goats up the hills to find a suitable place for them to graze. In the afternoon, he would return with them to the village. At night, his grandmother would tell him a story, the story of stars. This story really interested Nazir. As usual, on one of these days, as Nazir was watching his herd and playing his flute, he suddenly saw a wonderful light behind the flower bush. When he came towards the branches, he saw a transparent and most beautiful crystal ball. The crystal ball was glittering like a colorful rainbow. Nazir carefully took it in his hand and turned it around. With surprise, suddenly he heard a weak voice coming from the crystal ball. It said, "You can make a wish that your heart desires, and I will fulfill it." Nazir could not believe that he had actually heard a voice. But he became so engrossed in his thoughts, for he had so many wishes, but must wish for something which was impossible, like the wish to be able to fly. He said to himself, "If I wait till tomorrow, I will remember many things." He put the crystal ball in a bag and gathered the herd, happily returned back to the village. He decided that he would not tell anyone about the crystal ball. On the following day also, Nazir could not decide what to wish for, because he really had everything he needed. The days passed as usual, and Nazir appeared to be very cheerful, that the people around him were amazed to see his cheerful disposition. One day, a boy followed Nazir and his herd and hid behind a tree. Nazir, as usual, sat in one corner, took out the crystal ball, and for a few moments looked at it. The boy waited for the moment when the Nazir would go to sleep. Then he took the crystal ball and ran away. When he arrived in the village, he called all the people and showed them the crystal ball. The citizens of the village took the crystal ball in their hand and turned it around with surprise. Suddenly, they heard a voice from inside the crystal ball which says, "I can fulfill your wish." One person took the ball and screamed, "I want one bag full of gold." Another took the ball and said loudly, "I want 2 chests full of jewelry." Some of them wished that they would have their own palace with grand door made from pure gold instead of their old houses. Some also wished for bags full of jewelry, but nobody asked for gardens in their palaces. All their wishes were fulfilled, but still the citizens of the villages were not happy. They were jealous because the person that had a palace had no gold, and the person that had the gold had no palace. For this reason, the citizens of the village were angry and were not speaking to each other. There was not even one garden which existed in the village where the children could play. The patience of the children was running out and they were uncomfortable. Nazir and his family were happy and pleased. Every morning and afternoon he would play the flute. The children could not wait anymore and decided to return the crystal ball to Nazir. The parents and neighbors went to him. The children said to Nazir, "When we had a small village, we all were happy and joyful." The parent also spoke, "In one way or another, nobody is happy. The expensive palaces and jewelry only brings us pain." When Nazir saw that people were really regretful, he said, "I have not wished till now. If you really want everything to return to its own place, then I will wish for it." Everyone happily agreed. Nazir took the crystal ball in his hand and turned around and wished that the village become the same as it was before. Everyone quickly turned towards the village and saw it became the same old village with a garden full of trees and fruits. Once again, the people started to live happily and the children played under the shade of trees. From the next day and every day at sunset, the sound of Nazir's flute could be heard in the village. This story teaches us that we should be happy with whatever we have and not to be greedy.